Test. And welcome into High Top Sports Network. High Top Sports Network, sorry about that. Late start here, but back to the action. Armstrong only facing 4 batters in that first inning. Toledo down for the Riverhawks. Nice dive to catch the start things on that field for the Riverhawks. An error extended the inning. The Riverhawks are taking on in defending WPIAL champs. Class 5A. It's Allegheny, the number 3 seed in the WPIAL playoffs a season ago, able to defeat the number 1 seed, Peters Township. Looking for more here in 2023. And a strikeout to start. Backwards, hey. In there, just a bit outside, I believe, what the umpire signaled there. We're about 512 feet out here in the outfield, so know exactly what the call is. The ball's lined to the opposite field there, so Delano helping his own cause, able to notch the 1-out single to right field for the Riverhawks. So 1 down, and a runner on first base. The courtesy runner heads in for Delano with that opposite field single. This one ripped hard up the middle. Double play chance here. Ball thrown to first in time for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down, despite Delano with the hard hit opposite field single. And the Indians will come back to bat for a second time we remain scoreless here after a full inning. It is Armstrong nothing, West Allegheny nothing here on High Top Sports Network. Yeah, I apologize. We got a little bit of a late start here, and it's always just a little more tricky doing baseball and softball. There's no two venues the same. You can't really count on something being where it is or where it should be or where you expect for maybe football or basketball. But nonetheless, it's nice to be outside and get some fresh air after being in the gym all winter long. Try to get a good view for you here for the pitcher-catcher combo. You'll see Carson Delano in your frame there. There we go. That looks good. But, Armstrong facing the defending WPIAL champions, as I said, to start things. And tough task, but Armstrong, really a confident group, and they should be as they notched a walk-off win 2 days ago in this very field. Some late game heroics. The story there. I apologize if the wind's a little bit of an issue. That's another thing about this time of year. Especially here at Armstrong, where the wind is pretty much constant 365 days a year. Delano out there for his second inning of work for Armstrong. Ground ball to third, throw on to first in time for out number one. So I like to see that. One pitch, one down here in the top of the second inning. Scoreless. Only one hit, and Armstrong responsible for that. And the young man on the mound is actually the responsible party. I made the wise decision, being that we are 512 feet out here in right center field. I brought binoculars. Thought that might be a wise choice. This one fouled off to the first base side for a strike. That one just a bit low by Delano, sporting number 8. I'll get you the diamond for Armstrong here momentarily. Take an opportunity to thank the sponsors that are allowing you out there to watch this one today as well. Armstrong, certainly some young pieces. These young pieces can get some on-the-job experience this year and experience some success with that. The future could be bright for this program. First-year head coach Vinny Santelmo, certainly a lot of positives to say about this group of guys. Really applauding their work ethic here and their off-season training. And it's been a good start thus far for Armstrong. 3-1 as mentioned, seeking to get back into those playoffs in what is a very competitive section. Hit by the pitch there, high inside. So the walk, or the runner will trot to first base rather here in inning number 2. Braden Wright, the hero a couple days ago in that big section win over perennial playoff contender Plum. He came in relief, pitched quite well. And then, of course, the cannonball long homer to right field to walk it off as the bunt laid down there to advance the runner to second base. Sacrifice works, and the runner in scoring position now for West Allegheny. So Delano back into the stretch now. Pitched quite well, working out of the stance. And a foul ball looked like it might have gotten the batter in the foot there. I'm trying to pull up my game changer here now. They're going to give Dawson a second to walk that one off. And Galinsky and Delano converse briefly there. Kern stands at second for West Allegheny. Just one out here in the top of the second inning. As I mentioned, West Allegheny, another championship. Head coach Brian Cornell, been there since 2004. When you talk about building a program and keeping it consistent, I want to say 5 WPIAL championships, if I'm not mistaken, in his tenure. 2008, 14, and 22, of course, last year. From out of play, taking a look there, was the first baseman. I believe that's Logan Badek, if I'm not mistaken. Good to see him back. A high top sports guy, broadcaster, helped us out during the winter and did an excellent job. Certainly, I know he tweaked something there a couple days ago, so it's good to see that fellow back out in the diamond for the Riverhawks. So pitcher's count here, no balls and 2 strikes. Trying to nibble there a little bit was Delano, trying to go low, see if he could get the chase. Nothing doing. Count now 1 ball, 2 strikes to the batter, Dawson. Runner at second base. Sacrificed over a moment ago. Another one inside. The Kern standing at second base due to a pitch a little bit inside. Nearly repeating that was Delano. Pitch on its way inside again. Just missing. The count now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes after starting out 0-2. Delano, you have to like what you see there, though. Still willing to go inside even after hitting a batter and then nearly hitting Dawson there a moment ago, as you saw. This one's going to be chopped to the shortstop, off his glove, regroups, throws on, and that's going to be over the head of the first base, but nothing that Badek could do there, and in safely to score is Kern. So a miscue at short. Inflamed a little bit more by the errant throw. And as a result, West Allegheny on the board here to start things off. Not what the Riverhawks were looking for in a game that they certainly wanted to use this as a kind of a measuring stick. They've had some big games, obviously, thus far, but when you're playing the defending WPIAL champion, no better way to see where you're at and where your team is than playing the champs. And that's the case here today for Armstrong, who, again, coming today is 3-1. Dropped my phone. Oh, we're back. I thought we lost you guys there for a second. No, we are good. But Riverhawks get out of the inning, but they do surrender a run on the error at short. So after 1.5, it is West Allegheny 1, Armstrong nothing, with the Riverhawks coming to bat here in the bottom of the second inning. Again, Braden Wright, the star. If you didn't get the Leader Times, High Top Sports Network, of course, produces the Leader Times sports section, and got a nice little clip of his home run right there on the front page. And again, what I think made that really special for that young man was just of course, the work, and that's one thing that Coach Santelmo was very eager to talk about with our Josh Schreckengast, was just the work that young man's put in, and getting to see it pay off. And to that extent, it's a special moment when you hit a walk-off. But my opinion, I think what made it even more special for the moment itself was just the fact that he had been pitching and really helping his team in that respect. So congratulations to him. Certainly something that really could help propel him. Still a young player for these Riverhawks is Mr. Wright. First pitch in there for a strike. Bit outside, count now even, 1-1. Hayden Brink, the very talented Armstrong pitcher, and also pretty good hitter as well at the plate. Swings at that breaking ball, getting a piece. Back to the backstop it goes. Count now 1-2 strikes. Guba doing well for West Allegheny. Really mixing his pitches quite well. You're seeing a lot of different speeds. Keep the Riverhawks off balance here in the early going. This one swung on, hit very high. Back it goes. The wind bringing it a little bit closer to the fence. You got it blowing out, luckily for these hitters today, but that one just getting up there a little too much maybe. Or rather, Brink getting under it a little too much, and that's out number 1. But some good contact there. And advantageous conditions for hitters here today at Armstrong as the wind is clearly blowing out. Call this the Wrigley Field of the WPIAL here at Armstrong with the winds that you can sometimes experience. And the aforementioned Braden Wright at the plate, the lefty, first pitch swinging. He's going to get that one right past the first baseman, so keep on swinging, Braden Wright. He's on first with a one-out single. And mind you, Armstrong began the first inning in a similar fashion, but a double play ball ended things quickly. So Riverhawks clearly hoping that's a different situation here now. Don't want to replicate that outcome. Courtesy runner for Brink. As I open my computer, it says Vincent Van Gogh's 170th birthday. Interesting. Well, happy birthday, Vince Van Gogh. And your lack of ears. So with one down now, the Riverhawks will bring Nick Kinner to the plate. Another young Riverhawk player thrust into an important role, batting 5th. Got to back up and protect somebody like Hayden Brink in the lineup. That shows the faith that this Armstrong coaching staff, Coach Santelmo, of course Doug Flanders, the head junior high coach on the staff, Denny Harriger, I believe, on down there, and just a nice group of just talented baseball men in that Armstrong locker room, or excuse me, a dugout, as that breaking pitch in there for a strike. And again, Guba doing a good job of mixing those pitches. Fester, the courtesy runner, by the way, at first base, taking over for Hayden Brink. Or excuse me, that's Wright. I kept saying it was Brink. It was Braden Wright, the hero from 2 days ago. He got the trot down to first, but then Fester took his place, who now takes a lead off. Throw over to first to keep Kinner honest, and he's back safely. Guba in the stretch, looks over to first. He's going to fire on home. Another breaking pitch, waiting on it. Thrown to second in time and over to first, and another double play. Golly, for the Riverhawks, that is just unfortunate. The back-to-back innings in which they started the inning with an out, but then got a single, but ended it immediately after with a ground ball double play. And that's how things will conclude in inning number 2 here on High Top Sports Network. We'll be right back. And welcome back to High Top Sports Network. The top of the third inning. Things moving right along here. Riverhawks, second straight inning that ended on a double play. Give credit to the fielders of West Allegheny. That was a tough ball that the third baseman brought in quickly, fired on to second, and transferred quickly over to first to end Armstrong's threat, if you want to call it that. I guess you get that first out, and then you come right back with a hit, as they did 2 separate occasions, and erasing that quickly was this West Allegheny defense. Outside by Delano. At the plate is Cornell for West A. And strike 3 looking backwards, K. Nice job there by the youngster Delano for out number 1. So I'm trying to pull up our, apologize. The glare off the sun here, just very rough. I'm not going to wish the sun away because it's quite chilly, but the glare that you get up here sometimes is a bit overwhelming, needless to say. So 1 down after the strikeout looking. There's a swing and a miss, so Delano maybe finding a groove here.
one unearned run, I want to say, to we're on the ledger right now as it stands for West A. And another hit by pitch, just getting a little inside there was Delano. I tell him he's releasing a little bit early because he's not only is he inside, but he's high and inside. That's the second hit by pitch that Delano has surrendered thus far. Top of the third inning, 1-0 West Allegheny in this kind of last-minute game, just scheduled yesterday, I believe. Strike one there by Carson. As Gubo steps in now, looking to help his own cause with a runner at first base, and one down. Throw over to first. And West Allegheny certainly they were section champions a season ago, and I don't want to call them underdogs, but facing Peters Township in that championship game, and back and forth they went and had to kind of maneuver 2 delays in that WPIAL championship game in order to come out victorious. So a resilient bunch, I think it's certainly fair to say. This one swung on and ripped hard down the line. That's going to be fair. Third base coach waving the runner in. It's going to be a close play at the plate. Not in time. Just a bit off was the throw. And the big hit there. An absolute frozen rope. Gives the Indians a 2-0 lead here in the top of the third. All over it there was Guba. Miller was the player to come around and score, and Miller knows a thing or two about that. I believe he was the winning run in that WPIAL championship game in 2022. So the left-handed batter Curry steps in now, and runner at second base. This is where you want to see Armstrong maybe buckle down and get out of this one as unscathed as possible. That's, again, I mentioned early in the broadcast, that's the kind of the mark of a good team. If you can kind of dodge these raindrops, so to say, and limit the damage, those are the things that really kind of help you as the season goes on and give you the confidence and kind of just to let you know that you're able to limit damage and dodge these big innings by your opponent. Kind of similar to what West Allegheny's been able to do, getting those big double plays that have certainly aided their efforts and big reason why they're up 2-0. Top of the third inning here at Armstrong Junior Senior High School, but a nice high heater there by Delano. Gets the swing and miss, so 2 down now, and kind of what I was alluding to a moment ago. This is a moment where you want to see Delano, the youngster, kind of buckle down and kind of take care of business on his end. You saw it right there with a nice high heater to induce the swing and miss. First pitch in there, catching the knees for strike one. Galinsky doing an excellent job of framing that one. Delano up to, say, 47 pitches now. So not doing a terrible job. Throw down to second. Just to keep the runner honest there to Tommy at second base. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If not, I apologize. That one's going to get past the catcher and able to get down to third and advance 90 feet. Was the aforementioned Tomei. That one's ripped hard and snagged by the Riverhawks, so they do limit the damage. Only 1 run surrendered there in the top of the third, as they will now come to bat in the bottom of the third, looking for a better outcome. Both the first and second innings ending on double plays for Armstrong, and they now trail by a score of 2-1 here on High Top Sports Network. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. We're going to thank a couple sponsors when we return. First and foremost, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank our scoreboard sponsor, one of the best, if not the best. You know him. We love him. Mr. Terry Steffi. Appreciate you, Terry. Steffi's Country Catering. It's a must-go. If you watch you listen to High Top Sports Network and you've yet to go to patronize Steffi's Country Catering, then I don't know what's wrong with you, first of all. But certainly Terry, a huge supporter of ours, and just a kind of a stalwart, not just in the coaching realm. He's a Hall of Famer, as I like to always mention, but one heck of a cook, and popular among many here to cater big events, events big and small. Certainly graduation's a big part of his arsenal, and of course parents beginning to plan those things. And if you're a parent and you're starting to think about what you're going to do for your kid's graduation party, think no more. Terry Steffi is the answer, so make sure you give him a ring or find him on Facebook. Look up Terry Steffi. And not just the events, but the Sunday specials. That one's going to pull the first baseman off the bag and safe at first. And a nice little bunt down the third baseline was the leadoff hitter for Armstrong. Waiting to see who that is. I want to say that's maybe Shear, but got the flowing mane, that great lettuce. Easy to pick it out. But I don't think that's who that was. Maybe. Oh, it was. Rory Fashear. Good job by that youngster. Another one of these underclassmen that are really counted upon here in 2023 to play big, and really set the tone for this program. So a leadoff single. Armstrong, they're not without the good contact and finding their way to the bag, but again, not to be redundant, to the double plays, putting an end to their efforts very quickly here so far. So no one out, and the catcher, Galinsky, stands there. He got the duck out of the way, and ball's going to get back to the chain link, and scampering to second is the it says it's Fashear, but I don't. It must still be. I thought for some reason a courtesy runner came out, but that's what happens when you're 500 feet from home plate. Another probably 300 from really being able to see any number. But again, just to wrap up what I said a moment ago, make sure you check out Steffi's Country Catering. I big fan of it on Sundays. They get the Sunday specials, and a lot of people like they're watching the sporting events and spending time with family and getting a pizza or wings. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that once in a while, but the throw on to first is in time. But Steffi's has got that kind of that home cooking, that meal like mom makes, and you certainly you get filled up, and it's just a delicious way to enjoy your Sunday. So make sure you check out the Sunday specials at Steffi's Country Catering. So Armstrong now with a runner just 90 feet away after that ground out. Now, the great Jablonski, as Ryan Sprankle likes to call him. Wide receiver for the Riverhawks. Good athlete. Going to stand in now with an RBI opportunity. A runner at third base after that ground out a moment ago by Galinsky. It says it's Fashear at third still, so he did not get that courtesy runner that I, for whatever reason, thought I saw. Great Jablonski, right-handed hitter, steps in, or stands in, looks at a very low breaking ball there. I will say that the zone today does extend quite low. We've seen both pitchers get some calls that look like they might have been out of the zone, but the important part is that they're both getting the call, and it's not just lopsided. This one ripped hard, taken in, and nearly an ending double play, but Fisher able to get back there to third on the snare by the shortstop. Pitch on its way. Breaking pitch, catching that outside corner. So, I'll tell you what, Guba doesn't mind throwing that breaking pitch quite often. It's working for him. Another one here. This one hit towards the first baseline, brought in and gathered by the first baseman for out number 3. So the Riverhawks threaten with the leadoff hit, but leave him stranded at third. So after 3 full, it is West Allegheny 2, Armstrong nothing here on High Top Sports Network. I'm going to try to get logged in. Again, it's so hard to see. It's unbelievable. I like to say I have pretty good eyesight, but when the sun is hitting a screen like it is, it doesn't matter how good your eyes are. You can be Ted Williams, and it's not going to help you. Barry Bonds was actually just talking about the importance of high eyesight and playing baseball. Some of the people and athletes with the best eyesight certainly play baseball. Ted Williams among them, and talking to Josh Schreckengoss last night about Barry Bonds' eyesight. And you always see him kind of, open his eyes real wide and then kind of blink a little bit. He had a way of just seeing the ball. It's almost slower than everyone else. His growth certainly didn't hurt his cause, but eyesight and strong eyesight at that, certainly a big helper to Barry Bonds. I'm going to say air quotes record-setting home run mark. We're in now the 4th inning. I believe Shearer actually now in to pitch. And that just leads me to believe he was not at third. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm a ways away, but I think he might have had a courtesy runner because maybe they knew he was going to be throwing the next inning. So that closes the book on Delano. Not a bad outing for that young man. Only 1 earned. If my recollection is correct. Hey, I found my way into my Facebook. Quickly, I just want to go through and thank all of our sponsors, if I may, because, again, you folks are out there watching in this pretty day, and maybe you're stuck in work, couldn't get out of work to come here and watch the game, or maybe you're just listening or whatever the case may be, but there's one reason for it primarily, and that's our sponsors who are as loyal and awesome, and I can't thank them enough. It's very humbling to have some of the sponsors and work with so many sponsors and these companies and organizations here in and around Armstrong County and in Butler County and Indiana County certainly, and all over the map really at this point, but especially here in Armstrong County. And man, oh man, it almost chokes me up when I talk about it sometimes, just how grateful we are for them and their support and what it really means to, I know, myself and the rest of the team at High Top Sports Network. So thank you to them. And among them, we got the Steffi's Country Catering, as we mentioned, and the official broadcast partner today, Bugsy's Pizza. Man, oh man, I got to get to Bugsy's. I'm starving right now, so might be my stop after I'm done here because I could go for some za, as some call it. Also want to thank our Player of the Game sponsor, DeMond Chiropractic. Dr. Justin DeMond had a nice clip of Braden Wright's home run on his Facebook page. And Ed Morris's epic call of it, leading up to the pretty swing by Braden Wright. I just want to thank Mills Chiropractic. Thanks to Dr. Mike over there in West Katanning. Appreciate you, Mike. Post-game show sponsored by Ryan Bowser State Farm. Ryan Bowser is the man. We love Ryan. He's been with us, one of those day one sponsors that it's crazy. We call them sponsors, but to be honest, that they're our friends. They are, people we'll sit and chat with, and it's a beautiful thing when all these people become friends over time as well. I also want to thank Armstrong Indoor Athletics, Mr. Pete Harmon, Mr. Keith Schaefer, guys over making this facility something for all these young people to utilize, and what a tool it is, and how lucky the student athletes are here. And really just athletes in general. Get some collegiate players to come back and use it. Sheer working quite well right now, moving quickly, which I like to see for a young guy inside, and that's a walk, so trotting down to first base is the leadoff runner. A different look now with Fasheer out there, of course, at lefty. And being a dinosaur that I am, I can remember him in travel ball over the last few years, just a little youngster, and on those teams with several of these now underclassmen. They were quite talented. I was getting stuff submitted to me at the paper when I was the sports editor at the Leader Times for several years. And again, we still are responsible for the sports section, but I have relinquished that title. But Rory certainly remember his name quite well. And, pitched then, and here he is again, pitching now for the varsity team. He always had the flow as well. Easy way to remember him. He got that great mane of hair. It's perfect for a pitcher, that's for sure. But Armstrong Indoor Athletics, want to thank them. Brian Myers certainly at Carson Boyer Funeral Home. All the folks at really Carson Boyer Funeral Home have, again, those awesome loyal sponsors that have just been with us from day one and believed in us and believed in our mission to provide this resource to folks out there and to spotlight these student athletes. So thank you, Brian, and the rest of the crew. And then Nationwide Logistics, I want to thank them for their contributions and their belief in our coverage of the Riverhawks this year. And also, I think that's today's sponsors. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm forgetting somebody, I'll certainly try to look that back up. But again, thank you to our sponsors. Wonderful, wonderful people. And very grateful again for what they do. Sheer working that stretch. Lefty, clear view at first base as he stands in the stretch. Here in inning number 4. He's kind of cruising right along. I'm hoping to be luckier than Mr. Ed Morris and Josh Schreckengoss were 2 days ago, and the sun was starting to set, and Josh was clearly cold. If you couldn't pick up on that during our broadcast, he was a little frigid. It's when that sun starts going away, boy, oh boy, you hope you're one of those people like Ed that are fine with wearing shorts in the middle of a 20-some degree day. Why he does that? I know why he does it. He's an insane person. But he's still Ed. We'll take him for what he is. He's an all right guy. Making his debut on High Top Sports Network to much fanfare. This one lined out to the right fielder, brought in for the out. Nice job there by Fasheer to keep working. Again, it's these games, they are important for guys like him and the young man that pitched before him, Carson Delano, to get these reps and get him against teams of quality, just like West Allegheny certainly is, the defending WPIAL champs out of Class 5A. Looking again, I look at my screen, I see Bugsy's name, and I'm thinking, yep, I'm probably going to get a pizza now after this one's over. Just a good old-fashioned just pepperoni and cheese pizza sounds just fantastic right now. And always enjoy Bugsy's. And we going back to my time at the Leader Times, as I mentioned, anytime I'd hear that somebody was going to surprise the rest of the team with some Bugsy's pizza, I was definitely looking at the clock, waiting for the pizza to come. So, again, that's always a great thing when your sponsors are places you really either believe in or believe in their services or their goods, or in the case of Bugsy's, how delicious their pizza is. Then it's easy to really to share their message. So, and today's official broadcast partner, this is a Bugsy's Pizza Game Day, Pizza and Wings Game Day, I should say, because the wings are good as well, and that's what they are. As Shear gets the called strike on the outside quadrant of the strike zone. And I really do. I like what Coach Santelmo has done here today, kind of getting these young guys, I guess you could call it a baptism by fire. Letting these guys go out there and face a WPIAL champion. That one snared in. Throw over to first is going to be in time and doubled up the Armstrong. Riverhawks get a little bit of good luck of their own after a couple double plays come to bite them. They use one to end the inning for West Allegheny. So Armstrong keeping the 2-0 deficit intact, and we head to the bottom of this inning. We want to thank again Dr. Justin DeMond. Dr. DeMond, a fun guy. We certainly enjoyed, you might have seen it during the fall. Dr. DeMond had a commercial done and featured Mike Totis. So those that know Dr. DeMond and know Mike Totis can tell me, don't have me to tell them how fun that day was to shoot that commercial. They're two of two, I guess you could say, Dr. DeMond and Mike Totis. But Dr. DeMond, third-generation chiropractor, knows this community well and knows his skill well. Again, it's kind of in his blood, the chiropractic field. So make sure you seek his services. You are in need of chiropractic care. Also want to thank, when we have an opportunity, mentioned him before, he's like a good neighbor. Ryan Bowser State Farm is there, because he always is. He's the man right there in Ford City. Make sure you stop in, get a quote. It doesn't hurt to weigh your options, see what you can do. It's always good to pay less. I mean, nobody actually goes out of their way to try to pay more for something. If you do, you're being a little frivolous. So stop in, talk to Ryan, talk to the gals there. They'll get you a quote to get you probably what will be a darn good and hard to beat price on your insurance, and not just your car insurance. Many, many different lines of insurance that can be purchased with Ryan. There's a strike thrown there by Guba, who I think is still out there. And man, oh man, you keep seeing that breaking pitch of his. He's not afraid to throw it. Me, on the other hand, when I was in high school, I seemed to do what we saw Delano do a couple times there early on in the game. And every time I throw a breaking pitch, it just seemed to hit somebody. So I was basically just kind of a one-trick pony trying to use my long arms to slingshot the ball in as Guba catches the outside corner. Again, that low part of the zone, much in play here today. This umpire is got a very low zone, not afraid to call the strike down there, as that one is a bit too low and gets past the catcher, but nothing doing. This one's ripped down the first baseline. That's going to get past the attempt of the first baseman. And in with a double. Sliding in, but he didn't probably have to, but he'll take it anyways. That was Delano. Mentioned him, his work on the mound, and right there, coming up big for the Riverhawks here with a leadoff double. Now you got Schreckengoss coming to the dish for the Riverhawks. And Doug Flanders going to talk to his hitter here momentarily. Doug, a tactician of sorts. A great third base coach, just a great coach in general. First season away from those young ladies who are practicing a field away. Coach Flanders, as a stepson, is going to be joining the program here soon, and he decided to lend his services to spend more time with his stepson. So that's I know Doug. Doug's a very good friend of mine, and his heart's always in the right place. Certainly when it comes to stuff like that, always a big help to me personally. You've heard his voice here on High Top Sports Network, and that's probably a tough move for Coach Flanders. You're a two-time state runner-up, and most of your core's coming back, and he had to make that tough decision and made it willingly. So certainly the baseball team lucky. One team's loss is another team's gain, and I'm sure all the folks around here, fans of the blue and orange, are just happy that his services are staying here up on top of the hill at Armstrong Junior Senior High School. This one's going to be ripped out of play towards the softball field. And it's a tough thing, everybody's backs at that softball field are to this baseball field, so you got to be real careful down there. And the fans do a really good job here of alerting players and whomever might be practicing on the field next to this baseball facility. That one's low in the dirt, breaking for home. And scoring was Delano, so the Riverhawks on the board here in the, I'm going to say this is the fifth inning. Man, I'm losing track. It's got to be. I'm not a math guy. If you've heard me many times on the network, math not my strong suit. I apologize to all my lovely math teachers over the years, and I had good ones. Their talent and their skill could not get through to me. And there's a strikeout looking by Schreckengoss, but still Armstrong able to get a run across and just one out. So coming to the dish for the home team now, I believe is I'm not sure. Let's waiting for this game changer load again. We're ways away. I'm sitting at the position at the press box of the football field, a place I spent many of my Friday nights in the fall, and will likely spend a lot of my weekdays here in the spring. Pitch on its way. Big cut there for strike one. So, game changers coming up. This is Hayden Brink, I believe. Yes, it is indeed Hayden Brink. So a good person to have up at the plate here, down just a run. He's the kind of guy that can change the score with one swing of the bat, but he swings through that one, misses, and he will go down on strikes for out number 2. Now, the hero from Tuesday, Braden Wright, that pretty left-handed swing, and pretty cool story. When we went last year to film our commercial at AIA, another one of our awesome sponsors, and again, it's such a tool, such a resource that people around here and the young people and lovers of softball and baseball, not just those sports, but also I believe they're going to have some soccer-related stuff in there, and that new turf field. But we were filming our commercial, and Braden was a young man that was in there working and ended up making the commercial. We asked him if we could record some of the cuts he was taking, and here we are, fast forward a year later, and those very cuts that we were shooting for that commercial, paying dividends, certainly, as he walked things off with a big, long homer to right field to beat the Plum Mustangs on Tuesday here at Armstrong Junior Senior High School in extra innings. That one low. Right, 1 for 1. thus far, wearing number 25. Pitch on its way in the dirt, and he's going to trot down to first base with the walk, so he'll remain 1 for 1, but his on-base percentage still 1,000 as he has reached on his first 2 plate appearances. Now Nick Kinner will step in for the Riverhawks. Nick Kinner, a sophomore pitcher, and plays up the middle as well at short and second base, as the roster says here. Just a sophomore. All right, he's going to get down. He motors down to second base on another pass ball, and we've seen those kind of come up a little bit more here in the last few innings for West Allegheny. So, excuse me, this is the bottom of the fourth, so my, again, math, not my strong suit. Bottom of the fourth here. A strike called to Nick Kinner. I'll quickly thank Carson Boyer Funeral Home again. You're in need of those services, and certainly monuments, a way to honor. You don't have to get it for for the deceased. You can also just get a monument and honor. It's a long ago family member, just a family name, or just something to honor a legacy. No better place to get your memorial than at Carson Boyer Funeral Home, and our caring staff certainly will help you through any what is undoubtedly some of life's more difficult times and situations, and they are the staff and you look to in those moments, certainly. And of course, Nationwide Logistics. Appreciate their support as well. Seen a couple stolen bases, a couple guys dancing in bags. A stolen base sponsor is Nationwide Logistics. It's a high pitch, and it's going to drop in there, a tennis racket. And there's Wright's going to round third after a little bit of a bobble in right field. And guess what? Nick Kinner in that spot, batting behind some big hitters, able to drive in Braden Wright. And I mentioned early on in the game how important it is for Nick Kinner to in that slot there. You go Brink and then Wright, and then the sophomore in that big position, because you got to protect those guys in the lineup. And right there, it goes up top with a again almost like a tennis racket to get that one, and ties this one up at 2 apiece. Are we heading for extras again? I would like the game to be settled prior to that if I'm gonna have my say in the matter. Still a lot of time to go here, just in the bottom of the fourth, as I mentioned there a moment ago. Two. West Allegheny jumping out to a 2-0 lead, but the Riverhawks able to answer with 2 of their own here in inning number 4. And we mentioned that Armstrong, it's not like they've I'm not taking anything away from Guba. He's done a great job. He's really mixed pitches quite well as he gets a strike looking there, but it's really aided West Allegheny here so far as the 2 inning-ending double plays in the first and second innings, respectively, that have helped them avoid any trouble. And that one's a big bender there. Oh, man, what a pitch that was. Nothing the hitter could do. Of course, that's Rory Fischier, lefty swinger. Just kind of watched that one come in. Not enough time to react, and we've seen Guba do that a couple times here today. That one's high. Good eye by Fischier. A runner standing on first base, occupied by a Riverhawk. Guba, stretch. He's going to fire home. This one swung on, fouled right back to the R in Armstrong for the hitter Rory Fischier. and that great head of lettuce he's got. Thanks for joining us here on this Bugsy's Pizza game day. Shear, another nice cut there, just missing that one. Goes back to the backstop again. Full count for that young man. If he could somehow maybe put one in the gap here, there's a chance maybe to score. Kinnert stands at first base. This one high and fouled away, so good job protecting there was Fisher, because it's so hard to let maybe what would be a borderline call just let one go, and that's the thing. There's been a lot of borderline pitches that have gone in favor of the respective pitcher, whether it be the West Allegheny side or the Armstrong side. There's a swing, but that's fouled back again, so battling well is Rory Fisher with runner at first base and 2 down in inning number 4. Pirates opening day as well. I know I'm certainly a huge Pirates fan. It's the cross-eyed bear. Jess Schreckengoss. I'm going to guess Jesse's maybe watching the Pirates game, which I don't blame him. It's easy to get tired of listening to me talk. But Jess, a huge Pirates fan. Kind of an excuse me swing there, fouled away. Batting for the Riverhawks. Still Fisher, just really making Guba work. Cold wind now. Once again, blowing out. Hitting me right in the face, and hitting that one again was Fisher. So he's got to be happy that this is a productive at bat one way or another. Seeing some cuts and fighting and battling, and Armstrong looking to really bring some of these younger players along. That's a nice job holding off that one. Was Rory Fisher. Now runners at first and second base, and still 2 down. High Top Sports Network's coverage of WPIAL baseball presented by Bugsy's Pizza here today, official broadcast partner. Stop in today. Tell them we sent you. Tell them Joe from High Top sent you. You won't be disappointed, that's for sure. It's getting a little colder now. The hope is that there is not extra innings. Armstrong looking to do their part in assuring that here with a little bit of 2-out magic if they can get a hit. 2 runners on, first and second base, and another low strike, low in the zone. Batter for the Riverhawks is the backstop for the team, Logan Galinsky. That one high. And, snatched by Galinsky's fellow catcher, but the opposing side. Mladic. I believe that's how you spell it or pronounce his name. Throw over to first to keep the runner honest. 2 runs already across for Armstrong here in this fourth inning. I'm going to fix that. It says 5th inning. I apologize for that. It's 4th. I don't know why the score hasn't changed. It's changed on my end, but not on yours out there. So maybe we're in a little bit of a delay. I don't know. Two, your score. Another bender in there for strike. And more often than not, when Guba's throwing that big looping curve, he's not getting too many swings on it when it's in their first strike. It's leaving the knees of the Riverhawks buckled at times. Just swing and a miss. And then that's how things will conclude. So the Riverhawks do leave 2 stranded, but they do plate 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning and tie things up here against the defending WPIAL Class 5A champs, West Allegheny. So after 4 full, and trust me, it's actually 4 innings now, I promise. After 4 full, your score, West Allegheny 2, Armstrong 2, here on this Bugsy's Pizza Game Day on High Top Sports Network. Again, want to thank our sponsors. Hey, wherever you may be, whether you're watching and you're stuck at work or just tuning in the car, just trying to keep up with what's going on here. If you're an Indians fan or a Riverhawks fan, you are doing so because of the sponsors here we have on High Top Sports Network. And again, just to give them their shine, as I like to say, and today's official broadcast partner, Bugsy's Pizza. Today's scoreboard sponsors you see on your screen, Steffi's Country Catering. Sticks to the ribs, as I like to say. A player of the game sponsor, Devon Chiropractic. That's shaping up to be a very interesting finish line, race to the finish to see who that's going to be. Again, the pregame show presented by Mills Chiropractic. Mike Mills, a big fixture in the sports scene and coaches a lot, I know, for his son's team in the past. And also want to thank Devon Chiropractic, as you mentioned, the player of the game. I think I thanked him. Post-game sponsor, like a good neighbor, Ryan Bowser State Farm is there. So stick around for the Ryan Bowser State Farm post-game show where we'll give you the Devon Chiropractic player of the game. And can't forget to tell you that I'm perched here nicely, starting to get really chilly, though, in the Armstrong Indoor Athletics broadcast booth up here high atop the hill at Armstrong Junior Senior High School. So where I'm sitting, I'm in the AIA, also known as Armstrong Indoor Athletics, broadcast booth. I want to thank also, too, that's Ryan Bowser State Farm broadcast booth. They can share it. Hey, our sponsors are good people. They'll share. So it's a dual booth. But Armstrong Indoor Athletics is your starting lineup sponsor today. Carson Boyer Funeral Home, the first pitch. That's starting lineups. I'm like all kinds of backwards. I was right. Armstrong Indoor Athletics is the booth sponsor. So we'll get it right here eventually. But also want to thank the folks over at Nationwide Logistics, our first pitch sponsor, our stolen base, and our mound visit. What a generous group of folks they are over there at Nationwide Logistics and their support of the Riverhawks here in 2023. And we certainly appreciate it and are thankful because, again, it's how we're able to do what we do and feature these student athletes here on High Top Sports Network. First pitch in there by Forshear. No, not meant to be. Outside for a ball. Top of the 5th inning, tied up 2 apiece. Defending champion West Allegheny Indians jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and Armstrong getting good bat on the ball early on, but 2 ending inning double plays in the first and second innings stopped any kind of Armstrong offensive success there, leaving 2 runners stranded, obviously, or respectively in those situations. Armstrong did get a double play of their own, I think about an inning later, if I'm not mistaken. And then their bats came alive, as you saw there in the bottom of the 4th, tying this thing up at 2-all. That one hard hit to center, shortstop. Brought in for the out. 1 down. Hayden Brink manning the shortstop position here today. Got Nick Kinner playing second base, as we mentioned when he was batting. He plays short and second base. Now Cornell will come to the dish for West Allegheny's 0 for 1. It is cold. Wow. The sun is, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. I'd hate to see how bad it would be out here right now if the sun wasn't shining like it is. And I always tell people, if you're ever up here, take the time to just stop and enjoy the view. Maybe during a break I'll be able to feature it for you. But you look right past the field and look kind of to past the first base bag. You could just peer down the winding river, the Allegheny River, and it's just a gorgeous sight. It gets prettier and prettier as the leaves start filling in, and you get some more lush vegetation and back, and it's a sight up here. It's a beautiful place to build a school, and certainly I'm fortunate to be able to call games from up here. So windy, I'm not going to deny that, but beautiful nonetheless. Great view. Be a great view, even better here in about a week. That one's hit hard. No chance for the Armstrong infield. That one's going to make its way just past the left side of the second base bag. So on with a leadoff single. That was Cornell. So he gets his first hit of the day. He's now sitting at 1 for 2. Shearer back into the stretch that we saw him in early on. He's the lefty, so he gets to see that runner nice and clear. It stands at first base. First pitch in there, I believe. Called a ball, it is. Throwing a first, not in time. But one thing I was really curious about, and so far, I think you can make a case that the Armstrong Riverhawks are playing a little confident. Certainly, you're tied in the top of the fifth with the WPIAL defending champion. This one's hit the center field, and camping under it with ease was center fielder Harklerow. Josh and Coach Morris, when they were doing the game here on Tuesday, were raving about his center field as a skill there in the middle of the outfield. But what I was saying there a moment ago is, you'd imagine that the Braden Wright's heroics the other day against a team that's really had Armstrong's number over the years, something that could build some long-term confidence for this team and put him in a really nice position here early on. We're not even in April baseball yet. This is still March, which I'm not necessarily a fan of March baseball in Pennsylvania. I think they could easily fit a high school schedule. That one's close, and he got picked off at first. What a nice move there by Shearer. And that ends things for the Indians here in inning number 5. So the Riverhawks will come to bat tied up at 2 apiece with West Allegheny here on this Bugsy's Pizza Game Day on High Top Sports Network. Not only cold but hungry, and I would be more than happy to, like I said, get a Bugsy's Pizza, or I'm talking about Steffi's Country Catering, the ham balls. Probably my favorite. I'm going to be honest with you. Didn't grow up in a family that made ham balls, believe it or not. I don't know if anybody else is that way. We had pigs in the blanket, for those that call them that. Rolled cabbage, I think some people call them. But I, being Slovenian, of Slovenian descent, they're definitely pigs in the blanket. So I'm your source on that one. But I never had ham balls, and finally got to try them. I think I tried them not too long ago. It wasn't Steffi's, but then I had tried his, and I'm like, okay, now I'm enjoying ham balls. I have been missing out. But just a very savory, nice little treat, and one of those things you can get sometimes on a Sunday, and their specials. Again, just look on Facebook, find at Terry Steffi, and you can usually see what his Sunday specials are. Yeah, it can be beat. It's and there's variety too, and I'll tell you what, I say it sticks to the ribs. Well, it's if you're a growing boy, like I constantly say I am, even though I'm done growing, I think, I hope. The portions are very generous, is a good word to put it. So I like that in today's world. It feels like you go and get fast food, which I try not to do because, again, there's way better places to eat, and you get a large fry and half the container's not even filled. It's times are changing. Think about how double cheeseburgers used to look for McDonald's, and now they're hardly nothing. Should mention, I believe, a new pitcher in. If I don't think that's Guba anymore. Maybe it is. Again, kind of looks like we got the high socks, but throw on to first in time for the out. So defense doing a really nice job. And that one little blunder at short early on, but nothing after that. Armstrong defense is. There's that misplay. I want to say maybe in the outfield too, but Armstrong's defense really complementing their most recent little offensive output quite well. You know, if you want to be a good team, you have to play all phases of baseball. It's a game that it's so your batting is so different than playing the field. It's you have to have certainly a diverse skill set to play and excel in a game of baseball. Strike called in that last pitch. So it is still Guba as Coleman stands in, and he's going to go down swinging. So Coleman 0 for 2, now 0 for 3. Now the standout pitcher and batter for the Riverhawks will step into the batter's box, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, this is Carson Delano, who scored the Riverhawks' first run of the game. There's a nice rip down the third base line. Have a day, Carson Delano. Going to get into second base with a head-first slide. Nice job there by number 8, Carson Delano. So now runner in scoring position for the Riverhawks, but 2 down. So a little 2-out magic here could help the Riverhawks retake the lead. I'm not sure they've led actually yet. No, they haven't. It's been 2-0 West Allegheny, as I mentioned, and Armstrong responding with two runs in the bottom of the 4th. I'm going to say that our buddy Logan Badek not playing, which is a bummer. I feel like I would have noticed him, certainly. Left-handed thrower, but a right-handed bat. This is Schreckengost up for Armstrong. Again, West Allegheny scoring 1 in the second inning and 1 in the third. As for the Riverhawks, 2 of their runs coming last inning, the 4th. That one's to be fouled down the the right field line and out of play. And Brink just a unbelievable performance last year in the if that's Senior Legion or what it is, but for the Young Township team in that championship game, I believe against Latrobe, if I'm not mistaken, he was dealing. He was tough to touch, and you know the kind of effort he put in and the results he was getting out of that game. You hate to see a guy not get is that over there? A bunch of birds on the far side. I don't know if our camera's picking that up. I don't know what it's about birds and fields, but there's a strikeout looking. The Riverhawks leave a runner stranded. 2 runners maybe. No, just 1. But that runner just 90 feet away, and that's a number that you always look at the box score after a game, and you look at that LOB, left on base. And it's a number that you don't want to be too overfilled with large numbers. They want to add up, and it sheds some light and lends to some clutch hitting and clutchness in general. And good teams again don't tend to leave guys on base at a high clip. So Armstrong wanting to certainly make sure they're capitalizing when runners are on the base path. Excuse me. It's crazy to think. I remember covering these Riverhawks in the first few years. They played in Ford City at the old Ford City High School field. Somebody calling my phone right now. They must not know that I am on the air. But played at the old Ford City field, and then the girls, they played, the softball team that is, played at Judd Field. That's a Katanning softball field. And they had this nice little facility built. As I said, I'm in the football complex right now in the press box, gazing across the way at the field where I'm situated, and certainly a beautiful stadium as well. And then the baseball field and the softball field right next to it, not too shabby. I want to mention, just to give you guys a rundown here, again, 2-2 as we head now to the top of the sixth inning. Armstrong, 6 hits. West Allegheny, just 2. So 2 runs on 2 hits for the Indians. And so I believe just one earned run, if I'm not mistaken. This one popped up. It's right between the shortstop and the center fielder and snared in by Hayden Brink. That was not an easy-looking play, but the athletic Hayden Brink making it look easy for out number 1. And again, another instance of first pitch swinging for West A that the Riverhawks are able to bring in. I'm going to guess, too, that Coach Santelmo, after having to go extras on Tuesday, would prefer not to do that again here today. And my hands would prefer not to either, as they are slowly turning into ice cubes. I'm pretty positive I have Raynaud's disease. Swung on and missed. Nice job going inside. Lefty on lefty matchup. And Bashir, he hides the ball well too, does the youngster on the mound. And that release point kind of just sneaks up on you. I can sort of see it from this angle. It wouldn't be an easy one to pick up, but out of the hand as a batter. And I think that's even more so the case lefty on lefty. Low, 4 ball. But again, I was saying West Allegheny, 2 hits, 2 runs. Armstrong, 6 hits for 2 runs, but 2 errors on the side of the Riverhawks as a walk now issued by Bashir. Carson Delano really making a case for a player of the game here. He's the only Riverhawk with multiple hits. He has 3 other hits. Braden Wright has 1. Nick Kinner has 1. And Rory Bashir has 1. It's a nice list of guys right there that are getting hits for you, because you're not relying on the Dustin Colemans of the world, who certainly one of the team leaders, and Hayden Brink that made that excellent play at shortstop there a little bit ago. Getting these contributions from the younger guys is a welcome sight, certainly, for the Riverhawks. A welcome sight for the Riverhawks and many teams around here. AIA, Armstrong Indoor Athletics, the facility over there, the state of the art. You got batting cages, pitching lanes, and again, the new turf field that was just put in, was it about a month ago now, allowing area baseball players to play all year round. The softball players as well, can't forget them. But it's a resource. Talking about our man Logan Badek, he said that he was using a facility and he had to go about an hour and a half away, something of the sort, maybe just an hour, but still, it was quite a drive to go, be able to hone in on your talent and skill in the off season. But that's no longer the case now that AIA has brought their wonderful baseball and softball tools to this area. This one lined hard. That's going to get past the third base bag, quickly into the left fielder. That one was drilled There was a Scheider who ripped that one past the third base bag where Delano stands. And now runners on the corners for West Allegheny and just one down. So a big spot in this game for Armstrong, big spot for West Allegheny as well. Armstrong coming back to tie this one up after falling behind 2-0, scoring 2 in the fourth. But, they're going to need a little bit of help here with runners at the corners and just one out. And there's a nice bunt by the West Allegheny batter there. That was Kern. That will score a run. And he'll get to first base safely, so not even a sacrifice there. He reaches safely. And West Allegheny retakes the lead 3-2, and they might not be done yet. 2 runners on base. Looks like Galinsky's going to go talk to his young pitcher here briefly and get a little bit of a game plan. And while he does that, I'm going to sneak inside and take just about a half a second to get warm. I'm telling you, it is brutal up here. And what did I do? I'm that smart guy that left my sweatshirt in the car. Sounds about right for me. Somebody's out there saying, yep, totally right for you. I need to bring a monitor inside and maybe try to watch it from in there, but that would be a little difficult because it's hard enough where we stand. But I did not go up top where Josh and Mr. Ed Morris were. I thought better than to do that. A, because I didn't feel like lugging my stuff up that little ladder. And I thought, it's better to have at least one wall here to block the air and the breeze that's starting to kick up here once again. Mr. Shear fires that ball in there. In this 3-2 game, West Allegheny getting a go-ahead run there just a moment ago. This one ripped. Three to 2 your score in the fifth. I'm going to update that. I apologize. Wait, the scores are going the wrong way. I have no idea why the score is going kaflooey on me here, but we'll get that fixed. We'll get that fixed. Excuse me. 3-2. Now we got it right. West Allegheny in front. Excuse me. It's top of the sixth, so maybe I was right a little bit ago. Somebody playing tricks on me. I apologize out there. I thought I was right, and that one's going to get past the backstop, Galinsky, and both runners move up 90 feet to second and third base respectively, and still just one out, so Armstrong hoping to not let this one get away from him here. Shear looks in, fire, and that's going to miss, and the walk issued. That'll load the bases now for West Allegheny in this 3-2 game. That was Upton who drew the walk. Moves Kern up to second, and a meeting at the mound. And I'll tell you what, you talk about good resources for a young pitcher like Fashear. You got Coach Santelmo, who pitched at Chipola in college, a big-time baseball factory. Of course, Coach Santelmo buddies with Jose Batista, alum of Chipola. There's other certainly notable alumni that went to that school. And then Coach Harriger, of course, reaching the major leagues with his pitching talents. So you got those two guys that are helping this young staff, and it's I think it goes without saying how lucky they are to be able to lean on two guys like that. Let alone they have Doug Flanders, I mean, that alone in itself is that'll get you somewhere. So just ask me. I know all about it. Doug, certainly an excellent coach. Take a team to back-to-back state championship games, back-to-back WPIAL championship games, winning one of those. You're doing something right. So bases juiced. Nice pitch there by Rory Fisher, catching that outside low part of the zone. Lefty looks in, fires, catches the inside part of the zone. Nice placement there. And watch that happen, and you have to wonder what was set out there. What was the talk when the entire infield was in there? Because Fisher has been placing his pitches quite nicely. And whatever the small game plan was, this one's belted hard to center field, but right under it. His Harkle Road runner's going to tag. He's going to fire in there. Ball cut off by the first baseman, Braden Wright. But the run does score. And now the Indians double up the Riverhawks 4-2 here in the top of inning number 6. So some work now for Armstrong whenever they make their way back to the plate. And again, Shear's going to want to try to shut the door here. Still 2 runners on for West A. That was Dawson, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. I believe that maybe Dawson was responsible. Gass is coming to the plate now. Great name for a baseball player, certainly. Have to wonder if he pitches as well. He stands in now. The righty swinger faces Shear. Check swing. They're going to say, I don't know. Again, hard to see there. The catcher was kind of blocking my view of the umpire there. We'll come up on Game Changer, though. That was a strike. They're going to say he did swing. Next pitch on its way. Just a bit high. Runs the count even, 1-1. Runners at second base, respectively. Upton at first. Buglick at second. Just missing low there. That's a call that we've seen go in favor of pitchers today, but that one not the case. .49 pitches now for Fisher. Looking at pitch number 50 right there. And I think they're going to say that too was a ball. So with 50 pitches under his belt here, I believe the count now is 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. Don't have a scoreboard visible to us here. Again, we're behind the field, and the only scoreboard on this here at Armstrong is that the one that's right, pretty near me, in that right center field gap, and so even since we are kind of far away, even if we had a scoreboard to refer to, that'd make life a little bit easier. But the count now, that is now 2-2 against Gass. And a nice breaking pitch there. Galinsky is going to have to do some housekeeping, though. Throw down to first, and he's able to get the throw down to get the runner out at first. So we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. Riverhawks surrendering 2 there. A tie game coming into the inning. Now they're back down by 2, as the case was early on, to West Allegheny. Score 4-2 as we head into the bottom of inning number 6, as I mentioned. And want to, again, thank another one of our sponsors. I just want to remind folks, these are the businesses that support your youngsters. If you're a parent out there, or you're a supporter of a particular athlete or a team that as I always say, if you're in the need of any of our sponsors' services and or goods that they provide, please seek them out first because what they do is paramount. This exposure, we know that we've talked to folks that have said that scouts and some colleges have noticed athletes from games seen on High Top Sports Network, and it's something like that, where a student maybe has an opportunity to go to college and excuse me, play on the next level, get some aid in terms of the financial burden that post-secondary education can cause, and something like High Top Sports Network, we did it because we know there's a lot of folks that want to watch these games, family members out of state, but that's another one of the nice things that came from this mission of ours, and these sponsors that we mentioned are the reason we're able to do that. And I, again, urge you folks, be it an insurance agency or chiropractic care, that you seek out the sponsors here at High Top Sports Network if you're a fan of the WPIAL games that we cover, in District 6 games that we cover all over the map, that you seek out the services of our sponsors first, because they truly, their intentions are to help us in our mission to shine a spotlight on these student athletes here on High Top Sports Network. So we'll give them the rundown again, but certainly before this is all said and done, but make sure you're paying attention at who is sponsoring these games that appear on High Top Sports Network. First pitch swinging. Crack of the glove. So a swing and a miss. This is a good person to have up coming off of an inning you fall behind by 2. Hayden Brink, shortstop, trying to get something started for the Riverhawks. Now falling behind 0-2. Now pitching for West Allegheny's Egan. Excuse me. And Brink will take the slow walk back to the dugout after the strikeout. And you don't want your your stars and your key players, the guys that are going to be a big part of what you do this year, to have days like Brink and Coleman, two certainly the leaders on this team. And that these days are going to come. The game of baseball is fickle in that way. There's Braden Wright, a big chopper, big hop, second baseman able to throw on quickly. So 1 pitch, 1 out, or 2 down, now in this inning. Quick work by the Indians and the Egan on the mound. But what I was saying there a moment ago, that with Brink and Wright, another key piece in this team. He's now 1 for 3, I believe. So, but those aren't the guys that are really filling up the stat sheet here. It's these younger guys for Armstrong, and a big reason why they were tied going into last inning, because we are now in the bottom of the 6th. So I guess it was this inning. But point being that if it's nice to see the young guys, especially against a team like West Allegheny, step up. And this West Allegheny team, we talk about them too. They rebuild quickly. Coach Cornell has 3 WPIAL championships to his name. I believe it was 3, if I'm not mistaken, of the 5 that this school has to their name. This one ripped hard towards center field, and coming on for out number 3 was Cornell. Speaking of Cornell, but they're a program. They're able to retool quickly, and it's a nice test for a young Armstrong team. And some of the younger guys today, like Carson Delano, for instance, responding. He had 3 hits at last check. And so Rory Fisher having a nice night on the mound. Sure, he gave up a couple runs there in that last inning, but what a tool and what a nice little piece he'll be for the Riverhawks here in 2023, because the lefty arm of his, a nice little resource to have with some kind of top-end dominant righties on this team. Just a nice change of pace, a different look. And you've seen a lot of young guys, again, kind of step up and keep the Riverhawks, keep this game competitive. And again, it's not over yet. We're now in the top of the 7th. I'll adjust that for you folks out there. But top of the 7th, so Armstrong will certainly, being that they're the home club, get a chance to, bat here. There will be a new pitcher, I should mention. But these are those games where, too often than not, and it's everybody's entitled to their choices and their decisions, but you obviously have a certain amount of games and a slate of games you have to fill outside of your section schedule. And looking right now down at Doug Flanders, a guy that really made it a point of his while he was the softball coach to schedule some very difficult opponents. And excuse me. You have to credit that decision, decisions like it, and the Riverhawks being young and welcoming a team like West Allegheny to their field today to test them and give them a challenge. And sometimes, as I was about to say there, you'll see teams kind of schedule a game maybe because the coaches are buddies or one reason or another. But sometimes in many of those cases, it's not really a game that is going to benefit the team overall in the long run. And again, games like this, if you're Armstrong, you almost would rather play a game like this, and if the score would hold and lose this, then maybe play a game against a lesser opponent and get that W. There's a leadoff single for West A. Still waiting for Game Changer to load here. It's just tough, to see. We obviously know a lot of these players, follow them for quite some time, but it's just a distance thing here. We are. It's hard to make out the numbers. So it says that Fisher is still pitching, but that is not correct. But that was Cornell. Got the last out the half inning ago, and he gets the leadoff hit. And now he's at second base, as you could see there, sliding in safely on the one hopper from Galinsky down to Kinner, who's covering the bag for Armstrong. The cold continuing to creep in here as the sun begins to set on this late March day in 2023. April baseball right around the corner. This is Bowser on the mound for the Riverhawks. And they trying to feel as though I don't have a lot of first names on this, and again, I do have a couple youngsters that oh, excuse me. Cold. It's hard to clear my throat, but a play there. Runners end up at second and third. So here, West Allegheny showing their pedigree, adding some runs on, or looking to add some runs on here. They added 2 in that last inning, and here we are in the 7th. They looking to keep scratching away at this one and get some insurance runs. And speaking of insurance, make sure you stop by Ryan Bowser State Farm in Ford City today. Not just car insurance, several different lines. Protect your home, your business, your properties. You have a boat? Get your boat protected. many different things in life that you just need to protect, and Ryan Bowser, State Farm, a place that can help you do that. Stop by and tell Ryan we said hi and get a quote today. Right there as you dip into Ford City. Can't miss it. There's a swing and a miss there. But so Bowser able to use that lower part of the zone, and you have to imagine that Armstrong's coaching staff, the pitching minds that they have there, they're telling these pitchers as they've gone in, pretty much from after when Delano was taken out to work that bottom part of the zone, because it's open and you're going to get some calls down there, even if it's a little bit outside of the zone. It's been the case all day that if you're even near borderline, you're probably going to get that call. So Bowser clearly working that way as well. That one ripped just a bit early, and Bowser with we're talking about Fishier, kind of a hidden delivery. Bowser kind of reminds me of my delivery, because he looks like a taller kind of guy. But it was like a very whipping action on his throwing motion. And another player that is going to get an opportunity today, and a valuable opportunity at that, to pitch in a game against a quality opponent. You obviously know who Armstrong, they're 1-2, is Hayden Brink, of course, and Dustin Coleman. But trying to find some arms after that can help. Check swing and a walk. So now down to first base is another West Allegheny runner, a base runner, Miller. That was Cornell out there as well. I believe he might be standing at third. I apologize. No, that was Guba. It was 1 for 2. I'm not sure. Game sheet are not updating quickly. It might be Miller at second. But whatever the case, the bases are juiced. No one down here in the top of the 7th. What could be the potential last inning of this game if West Allegheny continues to have this late scoring spree. Saw 2 in the 6th. Bowser's just going to throw to second baseman. I'm not sure what that was about. Umpire just, I guess, concerned about him, or not really sure. Wanted to throw it over to Kinner, and he did, and Kinner sends it on back, and Bowser back on the rubber, ready to throw. This one ripped down towards right field. 2 Riverhawks there. That one's going to be an error off the glove of the right fielder. 1 run's going to score. Fortunate that only 1 run scores off that, but an unearned run nonetheless. That one, I don't know if the sun might be starting to get in the eyes of the outfielders here now. That's one thing about this field. It's very tricky with the sun. In a very, very tricky field for the outfielders. You heard former head coach Ed Morris talking about that on Tuesday during the broadcast. He knows well. But it looked like that ball might have been hanging right around where that sun is right now. This one swung on, and a weakly hit ball to third base for the out. So that certainly helps stop the bleeding a little bit. Although West Allegheny now up by 3. What is, their largest lead of the game. It was 2-0 there for a while until the 4th, and Armstrong again tied it up. And then West A able to put 2 more on the board last inning and 1 more just now on that error. So a 3-run lead now in the possible last inning of this game. Again, you talk about good quality opponents, good teams, and teams with pedigree like West Allegheny. They find a way to scratch out wins late in games, and they might be well on their way here now. As well, runners will advance 90 feet, and another run will cross the plate for the Indians. Excuse me. And things starting to maybe get away from the Riverhawks here now. They trail by 4. Two runs in each of the last 2 innings for West Allegheny. As Bowser continues to fire on home, the righty for the Riverhawks. That was Kern. He was hit by the pitch, if you were wondering there. I lost track of the count and must have nicked him. So another hit by pitch for West Allegheny. They've had to wear a couple here today. Delano, I think, hit 2 batters. I think Brashear did a good job of avoiding that category, but Bowser enters his name into it with when he hit Kern there a moment ago. Nice breaking ball there, in for a strike. 1 down, score 6-2. Got a message from Mr. Mike Mills. Nice to hear from Mike, one of our awesome sponsors. Make sure you check out Mills Chiropractic there in West Katanning, right by the Belmont, nicely located. Mike and the gang will get you squared away and get you back to feeling like yourself. Is certainly chiropractors has an important role they can play in helping you feel like yourself. And Dr. Mike Mills has been doing it for a while. That one hit very hard deep to center field and nicely tracked down there for the out. But not paying attention was Harkle Road. He thought it was the 3rd out, and that allows runs to advance. And that was not a heads-up play there. Boy, oh boy. This casually starting to trot in like it was the 3rd out, and then that allowed the West Allegheny base runners to probably all get an extra bag out of it. So there's still a runner at second base, and not the way you want to see this game end if you're Armstrong. Kind of a lot of focus and a lot of good things happening there early on, and now kind of the mental focus seemingly kind of unraveling a little bit there as West Allegheny adding on to their lead. But I want to wrap up what I said there a moment ago. Make sure you stop in, talk to Dr. Mike Mills right there by the Belmont Complex in West Katanning. Belmont Complex, another supporter of High Top Sports Network, Gary Montebell. Awesome guy. So now the score after what was a sacrifice fly, but then the tag up. I do believe 2 runs scored there, if I'm not mistaken. But waiting for Game Changer to update. So, it is 8-2 now. So, tough way for this one to kind of end for Armstrong. I mean, never say never. You can score 6 runs certainly in an inning, but uphill climb nonetheless. But it was a 2-2 game heading into the 6th inning. West A putting 2 on the board there in that 6th inning, and now in this 7th inning, top of the 7th inning, really dropping the hammer here. Certainly an explanation point on their performance here today. It's, again, a mark of a good team. You can hold them in check for a while, but good teams find ways, any way they can, late in games to scratch out wins. And Coach Cornell and this West A team doing that here right now. As another walk will send a runner down to first base and load them back. Nope, I'm sorry, there's no one at third, so they'll put runners at first and second instead with 2 down here in the top of the 7th. But no matter the outcome, and that's what I was getting at a little bit ago, that no matter the outcome here, Armstrong is going to use this as a good experience for a lot of these young guys. Not even the young guys, but these leaders, these proven players like Dustin Coleman and Hayden Brink to play in a game of significance. You're a team on the rise like the Riverhawks are, and West Allegheny, a team that's pretty consistently up there in terms of their place in the WPIAL baseball landscape. And a lot of players are going to benefit from this. You're going to get the L probably at this rate on the ledger, but its impact and what it can do for you late in the season in some more meaningful games than those that are happening the cold days of March like today. That's why you play these. And certainly a lot of things the Riverhawks will be able to take from this one. Again, never say never. That one nearly hitting the batter. Bowser stands on the mound, looks home. Just missing a bit high there. One of the more longer half innings of the contest. Things were moving right along there for quite some time. And some of these walks and hits in longer innings certainly hurting. And that's one's going to drop in. It was a little pitching wedge, almost a sand wedge, really finding that soft spot right between the third baseman, Brink at shortstop, the left fielder, and even Harkleroad, who made a charge from center field for it. So the big inning for West Allegheny continues here. They tack on another run. Make it 9-2. And I found a little trick here. I'm standing with the door. I'm in the doorway. There's a window in it, so I'm actually kind of watching out a window. It's still very cold, don't get me wrong, but it's better than being completely exposed to the elements. So, I may not be good at math, but I'm observant, and I've discovered a way to beat the cold, even just a little bit. Bowser looks home, fires, gets a nice swing and a miss there. That's a great placement there to induce the swing. West Allegheny, with the win, will move to, I believe it's 4-0, if I'm not mistaken. Armstrong will be 3-2. Lost to Plum, the only other that would be in that column. It wins against Plum and Freeport and Indiana. And those are all good teams, too, that Armstrong was able to beat. Not like they were some cakewalk. Freeport, going to be a team to reckon with, certainly, in their section and their classification. I believe 3A, if I'm not mistaken. And really handed it to Indiana, I believe, a 12-2 score, if I'm not mistaken. And then they, of course, 2 days ago, that heroic walk-off extra inning win. Braden Wright, the hero in that one, the big fly over the right field fence to give the Riverhawks the split. Because as many of you know who are watching, the WPIAL going to the and that's going to be nothing doing there. And runs continuing to cross the plate for West Allegheny. You got to Kinter, and he just didn't know what to do there. I was looking, again, maybe a little bit of youthful inexperience and just first time being in some of these scenarios. But anyways, I was saying that looks like there might be a pitching change, perhaps. As a left fielder we're seeing coming in for the Riverhawks. That's Schreckengoss, and maybe he's going to get a little run, or else he just wants to be a part of the party. Who knows? We'll find out. It's just rare to see an outfielder come in like that. But a lot of good things for both these teams. Clearly, I think on the horizon, and a good experience here. I know that Coach Vinny Santelmo told us that they were going to try to get another game in. They had, I think, 3 openings on their schedule still, and nice to see that a quality opponent is what they were able to land. I just wish it would have been in maybe later in the season, not March, as I even said that this afternoon jokingly, that it's it's March and baseball in Pennsylvania typically are not two things that go hand in hand quite well. But we make do, and but Armstrong, their objective clearly was to get some good opponents and get them when they can. And today happened to be a day where the defending WPIAL champions were able to come to town, and certainly they are showing why they are the defending champs here in this late little offensive surge, I guess you could call it. 6 on the board. Or excuse me, 2 on the board during the 6th inning. And now tacking on 6 more in the 7th inning. So look at it this way: they've now put on as many runs in this half inning as the two teams have combined for in every inning prior. Again, scoring breakdown came out like this. West Allegheny and Armstrong both scoreless in the first. West Allegheny putting a run on in the second and the third to take a 2-0 lead, but then Armstrong able to respond with 2 runs of their own in the fourth. And both teams then went scoreless in the 5th, but then the 6th is where West Allegheny was able to pull ahead and possibly for good, putting a 2 spot on the board and a 4-2 advantage. And they are now in the midst of 6 runs here in inning number 7 with 2 down and runners at the corners. In for a strike. Trying to see the change up. It is Schreckengoss, who is in on the mound for Armstrong. Mason Schreckengoss, the junior, out in left field. I think Bowser's now out there in his place. Yep. Jacob Bowser. Again, another one of those sophomores. Very good freshman and sophomore group potentially here at Armstrong. Low. Runner's going to break for second. No throw, so now 2 runners in scoring position for the Indians. Still 2 down. That was Cornell, who was able to move up 90 feet, and then Gass, the other runner, who stands at third for West Allegheny. That one, tough one to lay off of. That's Schreckengoss, another one of these guys. A couple of these guys really deceptive releases, but you could see he kind of stepped a little bit too. There's a strike 3 looking, and I was just about to say Schreckengoss pointing right. His, you want to be kind of pointing and your foot coming towards home plate when you, as a pitcher like that. And that one that got away from him the pitch before, his foot was much closer to the first base bag side of home plate when he with that foot, the plant foot. So nice job to close the door there by Schreckengoss to get the third out. But the damage has been done here. The score after 6.5, it is West Allegheny 10 and the home Riverhawks 2 on this Bugsy's Pizza game day on High Top Sports Network. Again, just want to give you the rundown because, as I said a moment ago, when you are in the need of the goods and services of our sponsors, please remember that they are the ones that allow us to do what we do here and showcase these student athletes and give them an opportunity to, go home and watch themselves. Even something as simple as that. I know that, being a dinosaur like I am, that there is no way to go home after a game back in 2006 and watch yourself. Your coach wasn't going to part with the videotape at that time, the VHS tape. If you're lucky enough, the DVD player or DVD copy of the game. Coaches weren't going to part ways with that. These kids can go home and watch these immediately, and then the days after and the months after, because we keep our content up for a year after, and then they go to the archives. We kind of take pride in being able to provide that. We're at High Top Sports Network. A lot of us played sports competitively and some big games of our own, and certainly I can speak to that. I played in some really big contests, and it's just always great to be able to go back and watch those. And these guys, they get to go back and watch in high def a lot of times. And we're glad to do it, that's for sure. But my point, our sponsors allow us to do it. So again, if you need insurance, or you need catering, or if you need chiropractic care, if you need logistics, if you anything that our sponsors do, and we ask you to certainly seek them out first. Strike 3 looking for the Riverhawks. So this final 2-inning stretch dominant by West Allegheny. Again, I want to thank our sponsors, Steffi's Country Catering, our scoreboard sponsor, Terry the Butcher. Appreciate Terry greatly. Also today's official broadcast partner, Bugsy's Pizza, where I very well might be going here shortly. Also to the player of the game sponsor by Damon Chiropractic. And be looking out, we're going to have a cool picture coming up for you. Some of the Damon Chiropractic players of the game that we've had accumulating here over the last couple games. Today, certainly be included in that. Also want to thank the gentleman I mentioned just a moment ago, Mike Mills, and the whole team over at Mills Chiropractic in West Katanning. Again, right by the Belmont. If you're familiar, that little road right there that kind of goes behind the Craft House and into the Belmont. Right there, you can see Dr. Mills' his facility, his office. Been in the profession for quite some time. I also want to thank Ryan Bowser, like a good neighbor. Ryan Bowser is there, always is. State Farm agent in Ford City. Stop in, again, get a quote. Doesn't hurt. Make sure you're getting the best price you can, the best protection you can. It's important that you get the right protections, and you don't have to pay more than you have to. Ryan Bowser will certainly help you do that. I also want to thank Armstrong Indoor Athletics. Armstrong Indoor Athletics, a big supporter of High Top Sports Network, and again, much like us in our mission to provide a resource for student athletes and fine folks of the area to watch sports when they normally might not be able to. Armstrong Indoor Athletics wants to do that as well. And that is strike 3, and that will do it here in this one. The final score, West Allegheny 10, Armstrong 2. A very close game up until that point. The 6th inning where kind of the floodgates began to open. But quickly, I want to also thank, we said Armstrong Indoor Athletics. I want to thank Carson Boyer Funeral Home. And a very special thanks also to Nationwide Logistics. This is their first time on the network, and whether you've been with us from day one back in August of 2020 or you're with us today for the first time, your support means a great deal to us. So thank you to all our sponsors, and then there at the end again, Nationwide Logistics. And make note of those folks. Make sure you give them your business when you have the opportunity. This is the Ryan Bowser State Farm postgame show. I'm cold, so it's going to be a brief one. Brian understands. We'll get you, Ryan. Don't worry. But going to have to think of a player of the game here. And, this is a tough one because we're going to pick one from each team. And really, I'm going to go with Carson Delano on the Armstrong side. He came in, pitched well, had 3 hits. I don't know what he finished with, but I'm pretty sure he finished with the team lead in hits. Another one of those young guys counted upon. So he got the big start today against the defending WPIAL champion, and made a very strong appearance out there for the Riverhawks on the bump. So Carson Delano is going to be it for the Riverhawks. And then on the side of West Allegheny, it was really a team effort. You saw everybody kind of get into the act there in the back half of that game. The final 2 innings, again, they finished with a score of 10-2. But it's kind of a team thing, and that the good teams are usually going to win that way. But if we're going to have to pick somebody, we're going to go with Cornell, the center fielder. He had 3 hits, 2 RBIs. And a run scored. So it'll be Delano and Cornell, your DeMont Chiropractic players of the game here on High Top Sports Network. So before I lose any fingers or toes and start shivering, I'm going to sign off. But before I do, I want to thank you guys out there. I appreciate you taking your Thursday afternoon and evening, I guess early evening, late afternoon with me here on High Top Sports Network. My name is Joe Rhodes, and certainly a great joy that I get to share these days and get to share my love of sport with you. Certainly grateful for that and grateful for all of you out there as always. So we have I think that does it for our week of action here. I think opening week is officially the first full week of baseball action now in the books. We don't have anything, I think, on the schedule tomorrow, but full slate next week. Plenty of games, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and check out our YouTube page. We've been putting up some really cool interviews, some recaps, some highlights, and things of the sort, so make sure you're logging onto our YouTube page as well to see some of that stuff. And again, make sure you're following us, following on all the social media platforms to see when the next games are and when your favorite team may be appearing next on High Top Sports Network. So for one final